Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. I pray everybody is having a great day, no matter where you are, no matter where you're joining me from all over the world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Clubhouse. Hi, Facebook. Hi, Instagram. Hi, YouTube. Now, today we are talking about something that I had a word from the Lord at the beginning of the year, and I posted it on my Instagram, and somebody reminded me of it the other day. And so I really felt today that we're in July, which is the 7th month of the year. We have just hit the halfway point of the year. And so because of that, I feel like this is a really great time for us to revisit the idea that it's still the year of the rich wife. It is still the year of the rich wife. And I know it can get discouraging because we can be in July and things might not be the way that you would like them to be. But I want to encourage you with a few scriptures that I've got, as well as give you a few announcements. And then we are we won't be very long before you, because I do have a meeting after this shortly as well. And so I want to talk to you for a few moments about this. Feel free to share the link if you're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Say hello. Clubhouse, say hello in the chat as well, because we are going to have such a good time together. And I'd love to know, get some feedback from you about what I'm sharing as well. And so the Lord showed me this idea of why it is the year of the rich wife. And if you're on Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and actually, those that do follow me on Instagram, there is a post I'm going to put in my stories later on today, and so you'll be able to see exactly what it is that the Lord was showing me. And these are the few things that we were declaring, that this is the year that you'll get married to the king who's fit for you as a queen. This is the year where you'll step into your fullness as divinely feminine. This is the year where you manifest your divine desires. This is the year where we declare that I am a rich wife. And I'm going to get into it a little bit, because when it comes to when you are given a word of prophecy or word of instruction or word of encouragement, it is always up to you to steward that word so that you can see how God will work and move in your life. And sometimes the reason why we're not seeing the manifestation of things that were spoken over our life is because we let go too soon. Some of you let go too soon, and then you allow yourself to get distracted by circumstances. So one of the first things I want to let you know today is circumstances do not matter. Circumstances do not matter. That is something we have to be crystal clear on in this time, that circumstances do not matter. When you start to get distracted by your circumstances, you will start to not realize what God is doing in your life and the things that God has for you in your life right now. But when you are distracted, you will start to see other things that aren't there. You will start to get discouraged. You will start to get sidetracked about different things, and you won't realize that actually God is always for you. When you adhere to this important principle, so this is the first thing that I've said already, is that your circumstances do not matter. What's actually happening around you is not an indication of what's possible in your life. What's happening around you is not an indication of what's possible. What's possible for you is only possible because you have spoken it, God has spoken it, and you have agreed with that word over your life. Okay? And so sometimes we can stop the manifestation in our life because we decide not to partner with it. When you partner with prophetic words over your life, you give it the energy it needs. You give it the power it needs in order for these things to come to pass in your life. And so when I say today that this is still the year of the rich wife, I want you to be encouraged. I want you to understand that no matter what you do in your life, you are still going to see the manifestations of God in this year. And, you know, when I was preparing to do this room today, I was trying to get my things together, but my computer stopped working and a bunch of other things happened. And that's why the time kind of got messed up today. However, what I do know is whether 1 or 1,000 people watch this or listen to this, you are the right person for what I'm saying today. You are the right person for what I'm saying today. Even if it is just one person or two people or three people or 10,000 people, it doesn't matter. And even as I do this right now, that is exactly what I'm talking about realizing that the plans that God has for you, yes, God deals in numbers. Yes, God does do it, confirm his word for signs following, but we must follow the voice of God even when it doesn't feel like it's going the right way. And I want you to be encouraged, because when I say it's the year of the rich wife, there is these elements that I want to share with you around femininity, around manifestation, around speaking the words of God over your life, and even around how you position yourself correctly for the end, before the end of the year. Here's what I want you to know today, that when you embrace your own worth, we often hear the people talk about Proverbs 31, about the Proverbs 31 woman. But listen to what God showed me about this verse. And I want to declare it over your life today, for every woman that's listening to this. And for the men that listen, this is your reason and an instruction for you as to how you can support the women in your life. And if you're not yet married and you want to be married, these are ways that you're going to know that she's the one. Ladies, listen to this. You are precious in the sight of the Lord, far above rubies. Your value is immense, and your virtues are a testament to God's work in you. When you continue to walk in this truth, you will know that you are a treasure. And if you're watching this right now, I'd love for you to post, I am a treasure. I am a treasure. Write that in the comments for me. I am a treasure. I am a treasure. When you show up as that, when you start to believe these things over your life, you're going to start to see your results get so much better. They're going to really catapult. They're going to increase. They're going to be exponentially so much faster when you start to make a decision that this is just who I am. And oftentimes the reason why we don't see, yes, thank you so much, I am a treasure. I see your comments coming up. I am a treasure. Being a treasure is really important when you understand that I am a treasure, that what I carry. And even if you're in a place where you can even put your hands on your heart right now, if you can see me, if you're watching me on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, and you're able to put your hands on your heart and even say that over your life, I am a treasure. And what I get to decree and what I get to establish is beyond what I can see with my natural eyes, but I am choosing to believe this right now. And so sometimes, as I said, we can get distracted, and don't get me wrong. There are different things that even happened for me over this year that I didn't expect. But when you position yourself knowing that I am a treasure, it makes such a big difference to how you show up in the world. And so even when things get distracted, you're able to show up in the way that really is in alignment with who you've been called to be. Okay, so that was one of our first things that I wanted us to make sure that we were clear on as we go through this today. The next thing you're going to need to do in order to understand that it's still the year of the rich wife is to step into your royal inheritance. When you step into your royal behavior, your royal mindset, the things that really kind of set you up, you will start to see things happen for you so fast. You're able to receive when you're open to receiving. Some of you, when a gentleman opens the door for you, or someone pays you a compliment, you're rude, you're nasty, you're ungrateful, and then you wonder why the receiving channels get blocked, and you wonder why you don't see these things happen in your life. And I will say, for me personally, in my own life, I can see that the more open I am and the more receptive I am to good things happening in my life, is the more good things happen in my life. The more receptive I am, and the more I realize that, you know what, no matter what I need, I know my needs are supplied. This is the perspective that you need to have. This is the position that you need to take over your life. So you know that no matter where I am in my life, I'm still a treasure. Me being a treasure is not determined by circumstances. This is my DNA. God has created me, and therefore I am a treasure. And so when you allow yourself to be put in that way, then you realize that even though things can happen in my life, it doesn't take away who I am. The Bible lets us know in Ephesians chapter 5, 25-27, it gives us these instructions as to how a husband should treat his wife. Like Christ loves the church, gives himself for it, that he might cleanse with the washing of water, that he might present himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, and it be holy without blemish. As Christ loves the church, so does your future husband love and cherish you. You are called to a partnership that reflects the glory and love of Christ in your life. And God is preparing that for you even now. Some of you are in relationships right now and you've been asking God for a sign. You've been asking for a sign. Is this the one? Should I do this? Should I move forward? And here is your answer. Does it look this way? Does it look as though Christ is loving the church? In my relationship, can I see the love of Christ? In my marriage right now, in my engagement, am I seeing the love of Christ being displayed through my husband? And this is even a wake-up call for the men that are watching. Are you showing her the love of Christ? If you can't love her in that way, then it is time for you to move on from that relationship. Check yourself and move on. Ladies, we are not here to just settle for any old thing. What did I read? What did I talk about in Proverbs? It's such a popular passage and often misunderstood. That you have to understand that when I say that I am a treasure, that means I don't allow people to treat me as though I am not a treasure. And I know that we can get all sorts of mixed messaging that's on the internet, that's in churches, that's in our family, in our friends. But there comes a point in your life where you have to turn off the noise and really decide that I'm going to listen only to who God says I am. I have an affirmations book that you can get. It's on Etsy. And if you click the link that's in the top of the room on Clubhouse, and also the link that's written in everywhere else, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. If you take a look at that link, if you go to my Etsy store, I have some affirmation books. And a lot of the affirmations in there are things that I say every single day in my life. And I've noticed a direct correlation to when I am consistent with my affirmations, when I am consistent with my declarations, and the fruit that is exhibited in my life. I can almost pinpoint to the day that those days where I allowed circumstances to get the better of me, where I allowed a conversation to derail me, where I allowed things to distract me, those days I've noticed that I ever did less declarations, affirmations. I suddenly had no time to pray, or I got distracted by a conversation and I allowed circumstances to matter. That is why I say that circumstances do not matter. And so if you would like that kind of encouragement, you can send me a message for the link. I'll also put the links available everywhere afterwards as well, if you want to have a look at some of the affirmation books, or if you have any questions about that. But the thing that I want to remind you of, even as we continue on today, is that when we know who we are, here's the thing. When you know who you are, you don't put up with foolishness. When you know who you are, you do not put up with nonsense. You do not allow people who are less than where God is taking you. You do not allow them to call you out your name. And the moment you see that exhibition, the moment you see them exhibit any level of disrespect, any level of dishonor, you'll know that this isn't the situation for me. Sometimes we can look at things in situations, and the reason why, and this is another thing I want to bring up right now, is that this is why God always says to us that if you get intimate with someone outside of marriage, this is one of the reasons that why it's detrimental for women. Because what happens is that we become naturally bonded to someone that we are sleeping with. And when you start to do that, you now see things, I like to say, through like love goggles. You have love glasses on now. You know, like when you wear your sunglasses and you have like this, you know, you have a tint on them. That's what it's like, because you start to ignore some of the yellow flags, some of the red flags, because of the intimacy. because you've allowed the intimacy to distract you from whether or not this man is Christ-like, whether or not this is the woman that I'm supposed to be connected to. So when I say this is still the year of the rich wife, I want you to know that you haven't run out of time, that it's not too late for you to turn things around even now. Some of you are in relationships where you have settled, where you have said, you know what? I've made this declaration. I know what I want. I know what I desire. This person doesn't have everything that I need for my future, but I'm going to go with it because maybe there's pee in the dating pool, because maybe this is all that I can have. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I have had too many partners in the past. Maybe, whatever we want to say as an excuse as to why we're not moving forwards or why we're having to settle. And this happens to so many people. Nobody is exempt. We see the most amazing people in our lives often do this. And I'm going to raise my hand and say that I've done this too in the past as well. But my reminder, and the main reason why I wanted to come on today, is to remind you that it's not too late. That it's not too late. That nothing is impossible. And that it's still the year of the rich wife. It is still the year where you can see your dreams manifested. It is still the year something could happen to you today. In actual fact, that has happened many times. Something could happen today that changes the trajectory of your entire life. But if you don't know what you desire, then that's where we have a disconnect. When you aren't clear on your desires, when you don't know who you are, the Bible says it like this, when you are pushed by every wind of doctrine, when you allow everything that you see, every trend on social media, everything that you hear to become your gospel, that's when we can get distracted. And so if you don't hear anything else from what I say today, one of the main things is don't get distracted. Don't allow yourself to get distracted by what's going on in the world, by what's going on in your life, and make you feel like you can't still manifest everything in your life. Let me say this one more time. You are called to a partnership that reflects the glory and the love of God. And this year, God is preparing that divine union for you. And I do have a question for those of you that are watching, whether it's live now or on the replays. Are you ready for what God has prepared for you? Are you ready? If God was to give you everything that you desired right now, if every one of your manifestations came true today, would you be ready? Would you be in a position that you're ready to receive the inheritance that you were born for? Now is the time for you to get ready. Now is the time for you to realize that this is what I get to walk in. This is what I get to walk in. I get to walk in this right now because this is what I have been called to. And I'm going to have to finish this another time because I had some difficulties getting on today and I've got a coaching call in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to just be a couple more minutes. So I hope you'll be able to stay with me for the next 5 minutes just as I wrap this up today. And if you haven't been able to listen to the whole thing, I really encourage you to go back and listen to the replays. The replays will be available on Clubhouse and they're also going to be on my podcast. They're going to be on YouTube and also on Facebook. So if you want to catch the replay, make sure you do that. The replays are going to be Clubhouse audio, my podcast platforms, as well as it will be on YouTube as well. The final thing I want to say about this, when we talk about manifesting your desires, remember that I have a whole training on biblical manifestation, and it's also in the link that's displayed here for you. You want to get that because I've also got a part 2 of one of my seminars. So you'll get 3 seminars for the price of 1 if you sign up for Already Done, because that's my manifestation teaching where I teach you about what biblical manifestation is and how we get to be a part of the plan that God has for us. So just in short, biblical manifestation is when the word for manifest in biblical language means that you unwrap and unlock what God has for you. So when I talk about manifestation, that is what I'm talking about. Biblical manifestation, nothing else. If we go to Psalms 37, verse 4, it says this, that when you make God the delight and pleasure of your life, he will provide for you what you desire the most. So the closer you get to God, the closer you get to your original design. I have some videos on my YouTube channel where I talk about, for the ladies, where I talk about how to get out of wounded feminine energy. Because when you're in wounded feminine energy, you start to do things. Your behavior patterns begin to change, and you begin to take on traits that you weren't meant to. But when you line up with who you were called to be, you will start to see that your desires start to come true. It's when you show up as inauthentic that your desires don't know where to find you, because they're trying to locate who you truly are. So when you continue to allow yourself to get close to the voice of God, learn who God is for yourself and his voice inside of you, he will grant the desires of your heart. And desire comes from the Latin word of the Father. So God actually has your best interests at heart. And when you trust in his provision, he'll be faithful to supply your needs. So in conclusion today, this is still your year. This is still your year. And if you're watching and you're able to type this, I want you to write, this is my year. This is my year. It is a year of abundance, a year of divine connections, and stepping into the fullness of everything that you were born for. It is time for us to embrace it with confidence, with faith, and knowing that the timing on your life is perfect. In the book of Esther, one of my favorite verses that is explained there, it says that maybe, just maybe, you were made queen for this time, for this moment. Maybe, just maybe, this is why you have those desires. Maybe, just maybe, because it looks impossible, you are the perfect candidate for your desires. That when God created you, that even before you were born, the Bible says you were formed, that God knew you. And when you declare, like we said at the beginning, that I am a treasure, you will start to see that things that are looking for a treasure become attracted to you. Yes, Kimberly, this is my year. When you start to feel the pulling of God on those different things, that's why that relationship didn't work out. That's why you had to leave that situation. That's why you're feeling the calling to start your own business. That's why you're feeling the leadership in certain directions. That's why this is also what happens. This is also what happens, that as you start to change and become more and more into the best version of yourself, not with wounded feminine energy, not exhibiting negative emotions, not being unhealed. When you start to become the most divine version of yourself, you're going to notice the type of men you start to attract in your space. It is so funny to me that when I speak to my clients, and if you're interested in coaching with me, definitely send me a message. I have a few things. I am on the East Coast in America at the moment. And so I'm doing these in-person VIP days, and where we get to spend the whole day together going through my program, and we do it in one day. And I'm going to tell you something. We can break through so many things in one day quicker than if you did a 3-month program with me. So if you're interested, I'm on the East Coast right now, but I can travel anywhere. So you can let me know if you're interested in that. Send me a message on Instagram or Facebook somewhere. Even here on Clubhouse, you can send me a message, and then we can talk about that. I have VIP days that are available, so you might want to look into that. But what I've realized is that all it takes is one conversation with me. When I get to the root of your desires, when I get to the root of the things that you're looking for, when I get to the root of how we got here, I have this ability to be able to call out in you the queen. I have this ability to be able to call out in you what God is looking for and why your treasures aren't able to locate you. So if you feel called to that, send me a message after this is done. But I'm going to wrap up with a prayer so I can get onto a coaching call that I've got to do right now. And I'm going to just pray over every single person today. And I just declare that you will know that this is your year. And in Jesus' name, I declare that you will know that you are a treasure,
that there will be nothing that's stopping you from getting everything that you desire, and that no matter what is happening in your life, you will be able to say that I am a rich wife and this is still my year. That there will be no more lies that you will believe, that there will be no more delays in what you're ready to receive, and that there will be an elimination of the past. And the only thing you want to remember from the past is the lessons that you're going to see in your future. And so I really have to run because I've got to get onto this coaching call. But I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. And if you're interested in anything I've had to say and you have questions, send me a message. I do have coaching available. I have ebooks. I have lots of free content you can watch on YouTube, as well as on my podcast. You can go ahead and listen and let that be your downloads for today. I also have in-person coaching days that I'm doing, so you can message me about those. And what else do I have? I have a manifestation seminar. I have a business seminar that is coming up as well. And a few other things as well. So just pay attention. And I want to do some in-person things as well. So if you want me to come to your church or to your event or whatever, or even be on your podcast or anything, send me a message. The possibilities are endless. God bless everyone. And we'll be closing in 5, 4, 3, 2.